This is all off the cuff, so not scripted at all, but I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit real. I definitely think that's where we're headed in content these days, so that's where we're at. But yeah, I think to put it simply, I've always wanted to be a business owner, especially ever since I was young and realized how much I hated working for Chick-fil-A. Got out of that job and went and worked for a dealership, Tim Daly Nissan. And I was a car deal. I was a detailer there, and I saved up money, bought all the detailing supplies, and I started a detailing business. And I was like 17 years old or so, 18 years old almost, and it went pretty well. I didn't really learn systems. I didn't learn how you can have employees. I didn't learn sales. I didn't really know marketing or advertising. I just thought the clients might come in if my business was on Google. And lucky for me, I did get calls and was able to make, a couple $100 every week, which that's about right for minimum wage. So it was a good time. But I served a mission for my church, and after that, I realized I didn't want to break my back detailing anymore. Crazy. But I ended up learning photo and video while I was serving my church mission. I learned a little bit of photo, and I practiced out there. I was in Colombia, South America. But yeah, I kind of realized that I didn't want to just be a photographer. So I kind of practiced for a few years. My wife and I got married a year after I'd gotten back. I was 20 years old. She was 23, and it was a good time. For some reason, we decided it would be a good idea to start up a wedding photo and video business in our first year of marriage, right after getting a puppy. So we got married in February that year, and then by July, we officially had a wedding business up and running. And that year we got to travel to Colorado as well as Southern Utah, a few other places, and we're like, this is awesome, this is great. She's already making more than she was making at her little foot clinic, and I was able to soon quit my job, just working at my uncle's company. But yeah, we ran that for a few years, and we still are. But we were able to learn a lot of things that you need to run a business. I didn't learn systems very well, and I didn't learn outsourcing quite at that point. And I also didn't really know much about advertising. So we ran that. We went to all over, the United States, Jamaica, Mexico, Costa Rica at a certain point, Dominican Republic. So we got to travel everywhere from California to New York, and it was really cool. We loved it, and we kind of realized that it wasn't super long-term sustainable. We made six figures our first full year, 2022, and then 2023 we broke six figures as well, but it wasn't totally gross. It was net, or it wasn't net, it was gross. So we're making pretty decent money. I think we just realized that we want her to be able to not have to work long term. So we started kind of thinking about what I could do. And then September or so of 2023, I decided, you know what? I worked at my friend's production company, and I kind of thought, I'm not a big fan of the big productions. I'm not a huge big set guy, but I do love making social media content. What if I could make it for other companies? So I met this lady, and she's on TikTok, me and my owl. And she has a pet owl and gets hundreds of thousands of views every week. She has a huge community. I didn't really know how to monetize it. I still don't. I'm learning things like that. But monetizing a certain types of brands can be a little bit difficult when you don't know what you're doing, especially on something like TikTok. So we kind of worked together a little bit, but she never really had money to pay me. So I was kind of working for free, probably made like 500 to $1,000 total over a few months. Soon after that, I met my coach, Ridge Cross. Super cool guy. Saw his ad on Instagram, and he's like, if you're a videographer, like, I'll help you scale your content agency to $30,000 a month. And I was like, heck yeah, like, I'm not even making money right now with my agency, but I'd love to. So I started talking to him, joined his group. He's a good salesman, sold me on that, and I just went all in on that. And I passed off the wedding editing to my wife Jess just for now, so that we can scale this content agency. And I've been focusing on that. So it's now let's see. Oh, duh. It's September right now. It's been 52 weeks since I started my content agency officially, unofficially. And it's going good. From coaching with him, I was able to meet a few awesome clients, and I started working with this one guy who will remain nameless. But he had a clothing company, a white label clothing B2B company. So he's helping companies, big ones like supplement companies that have clothing brands, and selling them clothing and then stamping their logo on it, and then, shipping it either for them or they're shipping it themselves. So he's a great guy. He came to me and he's like, hey man, I've got a deal for you. How about you come and be my go-to content guy, contracted, so not a W-2 employee, but contracted. And if you do this, then I will find you lots of clients. So I was like, you know what? Like, you're taking 20%, like that's a lot, but I mean, if you're bringing me lots of clients, like I'll figure out the margins. So we started doing that, and we met a big solar company, which was cool, and onboarded them. And that was like it was a $4,500 contract, but they were, the clothing company was taking 20%. So I was taking home $3,600 every month. And I was like, dang, this is legit. So we started working together. The clothing company started hiring me as well, but he never brought me more clients. I signed on to a studio with him, and I lasted a few months there. The clothing company, the white label clothing company, that guy, he never brought me more clients. And then the solar company ended up, after like 4 or 5 months, basically reducing down to $0 a month. So we did their content for them for free, just editing and posting just a little bit, because we wanted to maintain that contract. But yeah, crazy. It didn't work out with the clothing company guy. He did not treat me very well, which is fine. I should have had him in a group chat with my business partner, which I need to talk about as well. But yeah, that did not go very well. We got out of that contract and ended up realizing that, there's certain clients we don't want to work with long-term for sure. So anyways, that didn't go well. And then the solar company ended up reducing to $0. And then we were down like $4,000 a month. And then, just kind of crazy. So but this whole time I've been kind of defining my niche with the content agency. Back in January, February, I kind of nailed down, okay, let's do real estate agents. And I met my business partner, who I didn't know was going to be my business partner quite yet, Connor. And Connor is a stellar guy. Honestly, have learned so much from him. But yeah, he was an agent. I told him I'd do some reels for free, and he said yes. And then I shot some reels for him. And next thing I know, I'm kind of throwing out, hey, like, you should be my business partner. Like, you have all the contacts. Like, we could totally do this. And he's like, you know what? You're totally right. So he was kind of thinking about getting a job at that point, but then he realized there's a lot of upsides to scaling this agency. And And yeah, we partnered up, and we've been working together now for probably since March or April. April, May, June, July, August. I still count with my fingers because I'm like 2 years old. So we've been working for like 5 or 6 months together. Kind of crazy, but he loved the way I work. He related to me, and he also wants to build up a business. So yeah, we lost our clients. I was at 9K probably in like July, June, and then we dropped down all the way to a whopping $1,000 a month. I think all the gurus make it seem a lot easier than it is. And I think there's a lot I could have done better. I definitely invested a lot of time into that B2B clothing white label company. That relationship, it just wasn't going to pan out, and I should have seen the white flags for that, or the red flags, white flags. But I should have known it wasn't going to pan out, and sure enough, it didn't. But the biggest thing that I've learned up until this point is when you get ahead, you can't stop pushing. And you're probably like, yeah, no duh, Colton. Like this probably the stupidest business advice I've ever heard. But assuming you're a nice person, you're not thinking that. But I think it's so easy to get comfortable. I was at $0 for a sec with my agency in the negative. Then we got up to 9K a month, and then dropped all the way down to $1,000 a month. And I was just like, this is killer. So, yeah, we have since July and August, we've started focusing really hard on ads. We've started focusing on cold calls, dialing in our systems, making sure we're not wasting time. I still have the wedding business, so we've also still been, working on that. But I think it's kind of blown my mind how much work lead generation can take. But once you know what you're doing, it becomes much more almost effortless. I'm still figuring out ads. I have had some amazing success with the wedding business as of late with ads, which could be another video. But we, as of this month, as of September 1st, have onboarded about $3,700 of clients. So we're at $3,700 a month, have an extra $1,000 from another shoot. Talking to another realtor in Florida right now. That would be like a 3-month contract for like $3,000, something like that. So there's some cool stuff going on for sure. There's a lot of potential, and yeah, my goal is $100,000 a month with this agency, and I'm not there yet. And I hope this video wasn't misleading, but I think sometimes YouTube. It's not YouTube's fault. It's just humans want to see success, and we want to have hope. And I still have so much hope. I feel like I have the most clear vision of my business that I've had in a long time, and the most consistent success, and the most people around me supporting me that I've ever had. But it's not easy. There's a lot of things where, like, even if you have a coach, they can't do it for you. You've got to internalize and accept what they're saying and then go from there. So I've been learning that like crazy, and yeah, it's been crazy. But as for like systems and employees, we do everything on Notion. We have our clients on Slack. I met my VA, Jake, when I was looking for editors in the Philippines. I had a bunch of editors in the Philippines edit for me. And then I was like testing them, seeing who was the best. And then sure enough, Jake comes along my way. And I noticed his editing actually wasn't amazing. And he's probably going to see this or edit it for me, in fact. And he wasn't an insane editor, but he's looking to make a few bucks. And I was like, this guy's really good at communicating. He's really humble. I like that about him, and he's responsive. So I kind of asked him, like, would you ever want to be a VA? And he's like, yeah, that sounds sick. So I kind of asked him what his goals were and where he's at, and we brought him on for about $300 a month, which is an insane amount, we have long-term plans with him to help him make more. But we love Jake. He's a baller. He as the VA, he does a lot of little stuff, but he's also doing editing for sure. Just simple editing. He's become a very good editor now, and he finds editors for me. So that's something that I'm able to take off my plate and focus on other things. As for the as for other team members we brought on two guys from Indeed at one point. One was named Tanner, one was named Elijah. Tanner, I started noticing when I got to like $6,000 to $8,000 a month that posting for all these clients was a lot, even more than like a few, was just like overwhelming. You just have to make sure everything's on the right platforms, and it takes time, and like you have to have everything organized. So I brought on Tanner. He's a baller. He wants to focus more on videography. And then I brought on another kid named Elijah who didn't pan out because he's heading other directions with his life. But yeah, it's been amazing. And then last but not least, we've actually brought on a client success manager recently who's going to focus on cold calling and get really good at cold calling first. But long term, she's going to be our main like go-to person for client success management, making sure we're able to retain those clients we bring on, because I could have done a better job retaining the clients we brought on. There weren't that many that we had. It was just mainly the clothing company and the solar company. But I think retaining your clients is very important. And she's a baller. It's funny that she was our dog watcher in the first place, and I noticed she would just be an insane employee. Just really good at talking to people, communicating. She's very humble, hardworking, things like that. So yeah, really cool. So yeah, we're at $3,700 a month, and the goal is $100K a month. And yeah, it's not easy. I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning every day. But I want to share the success and how things go every week. Yeah, lots of good stuff here. I'm excited to keep growing, and hope this adds a little bit of value to someone out there. If you ever have any questions or want to share how things are going with your agency or your business, feel free to share below. But yeah, appreciate your time, and have a good day.